There is good hair dye and bad hair dye. And I don't want to use a synthetic hair dye. I use some hair dye too. And in our salon at the Institute, we have amazing hair dye that's, I mean, you smell it. It's herbs. And you know that you're getting good stuff into your body because you are actually taking that into your scalp. And you know, a lot of women wonder what happened to them, why they have problems like they have. And I highly suggest, if you want to use hair dye, it's okay, but you find the best natural, herbal, and totally chemical-free hair dye that you can find, and it's okay. And we're living in a time now where if I want to have my hair graying, and it's fine, or if I want to keep a certain hair color that I got used to, it's fine. But it's not fine to use chemicals. Absolutely not. So go for the natural, find the best that you can find. You know, we for sure only recommend that. But it's fine. And I see a lot of our guests right before they leave for home, they fix their hair and they go to our salon, and it's just amazing. And they feel like now they're getting the whole package. To chemically straighten your hair, that is such an unnatural way to fix your hair that I would never suggest that for anybody. And you know, these chemicals get into our system and it weakens our system because it comes in and it changes communication between the cells. So does all chemicals. And I don't need to add more to that. And so I would not suggest, and I know a lot of people, you always want what you don't have. If I have curly hair, I want straight. If I have straight, I want curly. Well, it's just the way it is. So I think we need to start early with especially our daughters, to teach them how beautiful they are and that they are absolutely perfect the way they are, and they don't need to change it. And later on, if they need hair color, you know, that's another thing. But don't add more chemicals unnecessary like that. Since the early 60s, women started to put breast implants in. And it was very much models that did that because they were supposed to be plump and big-breasted, and so that was the fashion then. And some of the models have come through the Institute who ended up taking them out and had serious problem before they took them out. Well, I can't tell you enough that I'm happy that yesterday the news came out that women are taking them out in thousands. So I think women got tired of this, although it is still the biggest thing in plastic surgery. So women are suffering, and this is the deal. Your immune system has a one-track mind. It will attack anything foreign. And it will look at these breast implants like huge problem. And it will attack it with all their energy. I mean, it will never stop. And eventually they start leaking. And as they start leaking, and it doesn't always show on an ultrasound. So some of our guests have told us after only 7 years, they were leaking, but ultrasound didn't show it. So, and then where do they go? They don't go anywhere. They leak, and it goes into your lymph system. So some people had to take lymph nodes out under the arms and just scrape that silicone or sealing out of their chest. I tell you, it's horrendous, and I hope no woman does it if you have mastectomy. So let's say you have mastectomy, and then you get the enlargers, and then of course you're supposed to come back and get the implants. I think you need to talk to your physician and say, I'm not putting implants in, I'm just going to leave it alone. The one thing that I wish was allowed now, like we saw Susan Summers after she had her breast done after mastectomy, amazing. They took her own fat and they spun it, and they separated the fat and the stem cells, and they put it back in. Looked amazing. That's for sure what every woman could do. But that's after mastectomy. It's not something we really need otherwise. And so, you know, when I started with making bras, I made them for after mastectomy, and I realized that I wanted to put silicone implants into the bra to hold the form after mastectomy. And then I realized that big part of the problem is the heat that the implant created inside the tissue. Well, it will create it even in the bra. So I couldn't create that, so we have wool, kind of wool implants that we put in. And that has worked for a lot of women, and then they tell me it's like you hardly feel the bras. You know, they're so soft, and they're organic cotton, and there's support, and there's no underwire, of course. So stop this crazy thing, and that putting breast implants, and a lot of people do it just for cosmetic issue, that, you know, they just want to be better. How can you be better than the way you were created? And we're all created different. I always joke and say, the only time I looked like Dolly Parton was when I was nursing my kids, and that's fine. So, you know, you have what you have. And I think, you know, we have the media, we have the press, we have the models don't do it anymore, by the way. But we've been indoctrinated very much from media and how people should look, and that's the ideal of, especially for women, to look like. And so we're all tied to compensate to get there. We don't need to. We need to know that absolutely this is how you were created, and you make the best out of it by taking care of yourself, being healthy, being happy, sleeping enough, not having stress. If you have too much stress in your work, for example, and you feel like you don't have a life, then change. You're allowed to change. And you might think, well, what's going to happen? Is hell going to break loose because I actually step out of this lifestyle and I move into a healthier one? And, you know, you will always be successful if you do that, because every cell in your body knows what you're thinking, and they're going to help you there. You want to have change, you want to take care of yourself, have a better life for yourself and your family. It's going to happen. Botox is an animal cadaver filler, and I would never put that in. And, you know, so there are fillers like our own fat. So of course, plastic surgeons can take our own fat, spin it so that it's separated with the stem cell, just like the breast implants, and that is a much better filler, because guess what? Your body, again, has a one-track mind. If it's my own stuff, it won't attack it. If it's foreign, it will attack it. So it will be an invader. It needs to be something that your body is totally interested in and has the knowledge. It needs to be a part of you. Facelifts is a huge part of plastic surgery, and there are times where facelifts, because women, we are so on the go until probably 80, 90, or 100, and so we want to feel and look the part of, you know, not just aging totally. And it depends on, some women are born, they're lucky, their skin is just gorgeous all their life, and some women get the wrinkles very early in life, and it goes on and on and on. It has a lot to do with lifestyle. It has to do with the sleep you didn't get, the stress you had, the food you didn't get, the liquids you didn't get, you were dehydrated, and maybe you weren't happy. So, you know, it's a lot about that. But I don't want to say that if you do it, then do it the right way. Don't put fillers in that are toxic. Do it with your own body's fats and stem cells. Let that work for you. Oh, it's perfectly fine to use ultrasound for wrinkles, and laser. At our institute, we have an amazing Israeli technology, and women have their collagen improved with these laser machines, and hey, it's perfect. I think every dentist can help you whiten your teeth. You got to be careful because there's a lot of chemical procedures to do that. There are holistic dentists that can do it different. And I've heard horror stories where people can't even eat or drink anymore because their teeth are so sensitive. So you better find a dentist that's holistic and really can protect you while you're doing this. To stagger your period, your menstruation, and so that you don't have it as often as it should be, you're messing with your hormones. And a lot of women have tried to get pregnant after using this and then have had a hard time to get the hormones in order again. So, you know, I guess some very super athletes have had to do that to be able to compete. I would not suggest it for, you know, for the normal average population to do that. And, you know, if it's about birth control, then that's another thing. But birth control pills are so toxic that a lot of women have got cancer from them, had strokes from them. And one thing I want to tell, especially the young population, is that once you decide to get off them, so let's say you've been on them for a while, and a lot of women are put on them just for PMS, just for pain, and they have no idea the side effects that's going to come, and it might not come right away. It might come 10, 20 years from now. Anyway, so once you decide to get off, you're off. You cannot go back and forth. And I hear these stories all the time. Oh, I went off, and then I went on, and I forgot, and then I went back. That increases your cancer risk each time. So, you know, if you have it for a certain reason, like a real medical reason, and you change lifestyle, you get rid of these problems, you should be off, and you're off. Spray tanning, no, absolutely not. And you know, you get tan, you go in the sun. This is the best nourishment of vitamin D, and it's the best way to get tan. Of course, living in Florida, we don't get tan like I would do when I lived in Sweden, and I would just burn in the sun for hours and hours. We don't do that. But we are by being outside and walking on the beach, and so we get it. But yeah, I know it's fancy kind of to have a tan, and you know, it's a fool's game. Tanning booth is horrendous, and that could really cause cancer, because now you're working with synthetic infrared, and it's not good for anybody. I would not recommend that. You go in the sun, you walk in the sun, you bathe in the ocean, and you get the sun that way. And actually the best time to get the sun's rays and get the best vitamin D is between 1 and 1:30. But of course it doesn't go through my clothes, so I want to expose as much as I can to the rays and get it that way. So antidepressants have their place and time. There are times we have so much trauma in our life we can't function. And so for a short time that could be absolutely a lifesaver. Now I might have other reasons. I might be bipolar, schizophrenic, you name it, then of course these antidepressants are there to help me function and be able to live in reality too. So you know, there are times that people need this. Having antidepressants for a long term, if I don't have a medical reason, it's very tough, and a lot of men and women have been on it a long time, and they come to our institute and they boy, they wish they could get off it, but it's not that easy to just get off. It has to be weaned off for a long time, and with of course with a specialist, somebody that really knows you and can help you with that. But diet and lifestyle, yes, it helps. Therapies, psychology, and doing therapies like we have Newcomb at the Institute, who's putting you up in a better state, and really helps you relax. So things like that can definitely be of great help. But it's short term for most of us in a trauma, death of family members. It's helped a lot of people, but it's not. It does change a lot in your life, and it does change you physically too. There are good sunblocks. Like we have a skincare that's called Become, and one of them is a sunblock. If I am dressing in organic cotton, I don't really need it. If I want to protect my face, I get a good one. I can use aloe vera. I can use cactus aloe. I can take a piece of aloe and just take the gel inside, and I can put it all over my face and whatever shoulders that I might burn, and that is a good sun protection. So you better watch what you buy, because there's a lot of chemical sunblocks out there, and they cause more problems because they can cause skin cancers and a lot of problems. By the way, skin cancers happens because of diet, lifestyle, and so we always blame the sun's rays, but it really has nothing to do with that. It has to do with what I'm putting on, what I've been doing inside, the food I've been eating, and my lifestyle. The best antiperspirant is taking a sauna every day and sweating, perspiring out a lot of chemicals that way. There also are crystal made antiperspirant that you can buy in the health stores that you can use that will keep you dry for the day. But I tell you, if they tell you that this product will keep you dry for 24 hours, you run fast away, because you don't want something that clogs your lymph nodes. That is your filtering station. The house waste is going to come out. So I don't want to hold it in. Every guest gets one Colonics in our program, and of course they can have more as they need it. Colonics is an amazing, it's like 3 days of fasting. And your colon is as tall as long as you are tall, and it's about as wide as your wrist. And then you have small intestine, about 26 feet long and very thin. And you absorb, in the small intestine, you absorb most of the nourishment. And large intestine, you have a peristalsis that's supposed to move the waste products out. And a lot of people you could store in that 6 foot long large intestine, you could store about 10 pounds, and a lot of people do. And they have problems with their elimination and constipation, or they have diarrhea because so much bacteria in the system, it just goes right through. And I tell you, so Colonics is a very good thing. Not to overdo it. Colonics you do maybe once a week, twice a week in our program, and then maybe you only do it every 3 months or something. I mean, you shouldn't hang your hat on Colonics. But it's a good thing when you first start and you're moving from one diet to the next, for sure. And it's a good rejuvenation to have that help once in a while. And to me, when I have a colonic, I feel like I'm flying out of that later.